ultimate goal is how does this translate into users or downloads or sales or installs or everything else. And just, when you get that first TV appearance and, you're going to be on Good Morning America and you're like high-fiving around the office and you're doing all that, now it's like, okay, now the real work begins. We need to prep and shape this interview to get the most possible result from it. Law number 10. Use media momentum to grow your market. So, once we got this TV hit on CNN, once I got the blog post, now let's leverage this to supercharge all their business operations. Here's what we did. This is actually an email, newsletter going out, and one of our big markets was, that we wanted to move into at the time, was schools. Basically, we had a product for schools where schools we'd sell them a scholarship library for their students, and then students would be able to look up, get help with scholarships by using our library. And it was kind of an expensive, this is like a business-to-business kind of business, but it's like a multi-$100 product. So, what we did was, as soon as we got the CNN appearance, we created an email, we took a screen cap of it, and we sent it out to all these schools with a tagline, share this and we'll give your school $300 off. So we had schools, because it's a useful TV segment, right, talking about how to benefit from college costs. It's not an ad, they're willing to share it. It's like an informational, it's a great story idea, right? They're sharing it to all their students. So one, some of those students may actually just come to our website and get our products, get our information. But two, the school is now getting a coupon if they do it. So the point is this, TV and sort of the esteem that we hold in society of TV can be a great thing to supercharge all of your other business deals. Who here is trying to raise investor funds? So if you're trying to raise investor money, what I always recommend to our clients, we have lots of clients who come to us because they're raising money and they want that exposure to create buzz, and says, add a PS to all your emails to your network or potential investors, and the PS just says, after whatever note you're sending them, PS, did you see us recently on Good Day Sacramento, or Good Morning America, or Northwest Afternoon in Seattle? And here's a link. Doesn't even matter if they go look at the link. The idea is that every time they interact with you, you have more good news, and usually, as a startup, you don't have good news like for your traction numbers necessarily every day or every week, right? So you need something else. So if you have a dedicated media campaign, it gives you a constant stream of good news. And what you want to give the impression of is, hey, this is like a rocket ship, our startup taking off. You better jump on before you're left behind. And the media can help do that, okay? So that's how that works. So here's the bottom line, is that syndicate your own media exposure. We're all syndicates now, right? We all have owned media, our Twitter accounts, our blogs, maybe our YouTube channel. We have all other networks. When you get a media hit, share it. Share it on Facebook and it will supercharge your business, okay? And in case you were wondering, from this one CNN appearance, what was the bottom line result, the traction that we got? We got 10,000 new website users. Most of that was within the first 48 hours. We got 25,000 in direct product sales from that one interview. That's just people who came in within the first 48 hours and just buy them stuff on our site. We had $60,000 in revenue from resulting business partnerships. That was like the school mailing we did and everything else that is like secondary sales. And after earning the $85,000, 10,000 users, I became a regular on CNN because they liked the interview so much that they asked me to come on every month or every other month, right? So this is the power of what TV can do. It's not rocket science, but if you follow these 10 laws, if you do, hashtag PR hacking, then this really is possible. And you can do this on your own, but certainly having someone with experience can really help. So what I want to do now is to kind of wrap up, is I want to have a few people kind of shout out what you do, so we can kind of and we're just going to take a few, kind of, we call these like lightning pitch rounds, just kind of brainstorm really super fast what some TV hooks or stories for you. So we're just going to do that really fast. And while we do that, if any of you are interested, what we kind of ask everyone is that one thing, we're kind of improving our presentation, that one thing you learned today, tweet it at us, at PR Hacking or at Benjamin Kaplan, that you found most useful or interesting. Hopefully, did you all find at least one thing interesting or useful? Okay, very good. We're on the right track. Excellent. So tweet, please, at me and at PR Hacking that one thing. We're kind of trying to figure out what people like, what people find most helpful, and we're using that to improve, and also obviously spread the word. So I'll leave that up there, and then Anne, if you want to kind of come up here and join us up here, and Cody, let's just get a few people to shout out. I just want you to see this in action, creating store ideas for TV. Who has just a product that you can summarize super fast, like Like not the full elevator pitch, like what is it that you do?
It's random gifting service, random basis based on your Facebook profile interest.
This is based on your Facebook profile interest.
Yes.
You're giving a gift, you're receiving a gift.
Giving a gift.
You're giving a gift to
the customer, reading his Facebook profile, and based on that giving random.
And do you know this person you're giving the gift to or no?
No, he just comes to service and give us his Facebook information.
Okay, so it's like pay it forward, random,
yes.
Something.
And would be based on his Facebook interest.
Basic Facebook interaction.
So the thing that just sort of stands out to me is as a great sort of hook is something along the lines of what you can tell about a person from their Facebook interests.
Yes.
Or maybe a survey. You know, I'm envisioning sort of a survey where you survey people. What do you think of a person with these types of interests on Facebook? You know, 68% of people thought that if you love country music, you're an amazing person, or you love. You know, you could sort of make the case for very specific personality types that have to do with Facebook interests.
Well,
right?
and to build on that, you could even do that across different verticals. So you could actually be like, what does your Facebook profile for dating and relationships, or for job stuff,
sure.
or for future friends?
What do your Facebook interests say about you?
Cody, in terms of what other news pegs do we have coming up? Seasonal news, stuff like that, gift giving.
Seasonal news. Well, my favorite now, and we have a joke in the office that I always have, spring cleaning ideas. So.
Okay, so we could we could do something like spring clean your Facebook profile to send the right image. We could do that. Other holidays, who here loves their mom?
If your mom's on Facebook, you know you can make a case for spontaneity. That spontaneity makes the best gift.
Okay, so spontaneity, you could say, do moms? You could talk about. We can be a gift giving thought leader and say, what do moms want more than just flowers?
What do moms really want?
What do moms really want?
For Mother's Day, right?
Who's here a mom? What do you really want for Mother's Day?
What do you?
You want traction for your startup, right? That's what you want. That's what you want. Like, I don't need flowers.
She's got a book. She
got
wants to sell a book.
Some moms want a website, right? Some moms want you to create a website for them, right?
Okay. There you go. Okay, so there's some hooks, some angles, some sources. What else we got? Yes.
Yeah, so my service is a mobile app that allows people to connect based on activities and find places where they can practice the activity. For example, if you like rock climbing or golf, you can find other people who love that, and you can find a place where you can do that activity.
Okay, so just for those who didn't hear, her app lets you connect with people with similar interests, and you can find a place to do that activity. So who here's a rock climber? Y'all need to go rock climbing. Okay. So it's an app that does that, makes it a little bit more efficient. Okay, who has an idea for what is a story idea or something that deals with these like kind of shared interests and activities? Why would a TV station want to do something like that? Yeah.
Human interest on two people who got together.
Okay, so it was one possibility. If there's actually like an interesting case study, and maybe that, I don't know, if this would have been Valentine's Day, like the couple that met and fell in love, rock climbing together or something like that. So if we have that, one of our clients, for instance, we have a company called Strikingly. Have you ever heard of Strikingly? One of our clients is a one-page website builder. He has a woman who created her dating profile on Strikingly, was taking dates from that, so we featured that in the pitch.
And also, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a guy who got his girlfriend to finally be his girlfriend by creating a website for her. So that's another sort of...
Kind of a love website or something like that. Okay, so...
You have like an infinite possibilities for like top 5 places to do ...
Sure.
So like... Yeah. You could do it unexpected places that people do ballet, like
and you can localize
like
it too, make it super local. So top places in Sacramento to go hiking with to find the love of your life.
How about
top
losing weight, finding accountability body to help you lose weight, something around that?
You could. So a weight loss topic, really good for kind of morning TV shows. A lot of kind of like stay-at-home moms watching those shows.
As well as January 1st.
Around January 1st, New Year's resolutions being timely. So for instance, one thing you could do with that in terms of weight loss is maybe you go, at PR Hacker, we do a lot of like survey creation to create news. You could do a survey to find out, maybe the result that you're looking for is that 72% of people say that it's easier to lose weight if they tell their friends they're trying to lose weight. Because all of a sudden they're accountable, there's something else. So you could go out with an interesting stat
You could
about
do
that.
the alternate, which would be mistakes, top mistakes, right? So the top 5 things that you could do to completely sabotage your fitness, whatever plans or.
So, and what that does now is because you have something that is activities can span every media vertical. Remember we had the math of PR example up here? What you could actually do is actually go between, let's take all these activities and let's pitch them to different verticals. So let's do fitness-related activities to fitness verticals. Let's do health and weight loss to those verticals.
Yoga outlets, right?
Yeah, so you can start tackling these and getting, and again, the math of PR is you hit more verticals, you're gonna get more coverage. Who's got another? Yes.
Mike and I saw, we're in the beverage industry. We make a rum. So I was thinking maybe, like, what's your drink or what's your cocktail say about your sexual life or personality or
Okay.
something fun, like you're at a bar. What drink is it most likely to get you in the sack or whatever? What,
Okay.
what cocktail?
Okay. So
Talks about your personality.
there's that. We had a cleaner version of that for one of our clients. Remember that
Oh,
one?
what is your drink choice on your first date
Oh, that's right,
say
yeah.
about you?
We actually did
Beer
something.
versus shots?
It was and the way we actually ended up doing it was more like, what's the impression of your drink order? And most people's expectations are that on your first date, you're not gonna order like hard liquor, but you're gonna get wine or beer. And women actually expected guys to order more wine than anything else.
Well, and one of the things is it turns out 0.001% of people would prefer that their dream first date do shots with them. So don't do. That's the lesson: is don't do shots on the first date.
If there's one thing that you can take away from it, don't do shots.
Yes, that one thing. There you go. No, okay. Let's do one more. Yeah.
Online test preparation for college students.
Online test preparation for college. It's like a website where you get you take questions and you
Practice questions, and then it evaluates how well you know the topic and tells you when you're ready to take the test.
Okay, so what are context around that? It's a test preparation site will help you do that. What kind of topics? What's seasonal? What's happening? What can we do? Okay? Finals. So anytime there's a news peg with a certain test, it's a standardized test, and you can even localize that. Because if you had in, Seattle on May 12th is the SAT exam, kids are stressing out about that, you could do a story, 5 ways to help your kids stay stress-free for their upcoming tests. You can do that for morning shows. You can go after that. Totally works well. I think, actually, I've done that segment, as an expert before on that. So that's the angle. What else? What other seasonal things are coming up that we could leverage? What seasons would deal with test prep?
Summer, yeah.
Summer? But now, are kids taking tests during the summer?
Summer school.
No, but what are they maybe doing? They're preparing for the test in the summer.
The SAT.
That's a
Maybe we do 3 ways to leverage your summer to actually get that test score to get you into your dream school.
And a pitch like that would go out to, for example, college verticals, college media, young people in media. But alternatively, you could also go out to parenting media, family media, the morning shows. You could go really, really wide by turning that into a pitch for the parents. 5 things to help your kids, your children, prepare for that big test.
And also, remember we had the idea of talking about stress, how not to stress out about it. Look at the context we just built right there. It's a testing topic, but all of a sudden we've built a context around it. Are kids stressed out? Maybe we should do a survey. Are kids stressed out about this? What can we do about that? All of a sudden we've talked it into a parenting issue. Are your kids stressed out? Are we pressuring our kids too much? All of a sudden we built all this context around it. All of a sudden it has way more implications than just a test prep story. What else? What do tests help you? If you get the test, you get into college, what does that help you do after that? Have fun? A party? Party on your...
We did something a long time ago that's just in general preparing for life, that if you're doing well on your tests now, what does that mean for you 5 years down the road when you're applying for jobs?
Okay, so we could talk about
building good habits.
Building good habits. Using the test, don't be judged just by, if you succeed or fail on the test. Use it as an opportunity to build good habits to help with your career prospects.
You could even do content like, top 3 ways to recover from a bad grade. So, it doesn't all have to be like, you did really great, now do it again. It could be, This is how we move forward.
What about this? How to praise your kids when they get good grades or bad grades.
Not with Snickers.
Not with Snickers. Not with Snickers, right? Because then you could say, hey, if you praise them the wrong way, you're causing them to stress out, get really worried about stuff, but there's a better way to do it. So the point, just kind of wrap up with all this, and you can kind of see the dynamic between like the three of us, how we do this, is that this process, one of the things you can do is most people we feel like don't brainstorm properly. They discuss, but they don't brainstorm. And you can see what we're doing here, it's almost like if anyone's ever done improv comedy before. Has anyone ever done improv comedy? The number one rule of improv comedy is you don't contradict the other person, right? You go with it. You build on what they do. So what we're doing here is like, Anne says something, I'm like, oh, you could do that. Cody jumps in, and so we keep it going. And we have a lot of experience doing this, but honestly, at least I won't speak for you two, but myself, I have tons of awful ideas. Bad ideas. But the 7th iteration, after Anne jumps on board and Cody jumps on board and I come back, turns out to be our best idea yet. So as you do this, you kind of need that open dialogue, and that really helps. You had a question? Yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to know how much all of this costs, because the whole point is making it cheaper than buying media. And in my experience, it can be costly to try many things and to put a lot of resources on trying things, and then sometimes success is there, sometimes it's not, and in average it's still costly. So what's your perspective on the cost of doing PR hacking?
Okay, I think a couple things. I mean, one, in terms of there's yes, for any good startup CEO, you're measuring the opportunity cost. So in terms of are you spending time on this or not this? In my opinion, PR hacking is designed to minimize the cost, because it's something that's scalable, that has huge impact. And what I see the problem is too many startup companies think, we've built a brilliant product and no one knows about it. What do we do? And then the alternative, here's the costly alternative, is buying ads. The reason this is costly is because, think of it this way. If you buy even an inexpensive ad, you buy something from Facebook, you find a great keyword in Google AdWords, it's cheap. Now, you pay that $1, you get a click. Your traction went up. Great. But now what happens the next day? Well, you better spend another $1 or you get no more clicks. What is different about PR hacking and seeding not only these TV shows, but what happens is most of these stations now post the segment online. Create an article about it too. And so what happens is you do PR hacking tomorrow. You spend a little bit of time. You're not going to spend the $1, but you will spend some time, or you might hire a company like us to help you. But what happens is, even when you no longer spend that $1 anymore, 2 years down the road, you're still getting traction from that because most things are living online. So that's kind of the value proposition I would say, and I would say it's much less costly than the alternative.
How much should any startup at an early stage should dedicate as a budget for PR hacking?
Okay, well, one, you could do this on your own, and you could just be in terms of internal and time. Two, we help a lot of startups, and we could talk, and it depends on the case and everything, we could talk about, what that would be for us to get involved too. So there's the free way, not free way, but like the free method, and that method requires a lot of time, and it could be the right way to do it, or you can actually pay someone else to help you, and we could talk about that. So it's from 0 to something higher than 0, and it depends on the case. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. When you're doing pitches to media, is it just a few sentences? How do you construct your pitches in the email?
Okay.
It's not a press release, right?
Right.
It's an email embedded in a message embedded in email.
Yeah. How and Cody.
Sexy subject line. What can you?
Yeah, every headline we do is 27 cat gifts that will make you cry. No. No. How would you describe what a pitch looks like?
It's really. I like to look at it like the beginnings of like the skeleton template for a blog post. So the way that you would sort of outline a blog post and set it up as an email. So if you were introducing the idea for a blog post to a reporter that you wanted to write the blog post for, that's sort of the way that I look at it. Enough information so that they understand what you're pitching and so that they're interested, but not too much so that they don't lose the attention. But the number one most important element is the headline. The headline has to basically convert, right?
Which is your email subject
click.
line. Your headline becomes your email subject
Do you
line.
remember that tweet that was up there that was like, Connecticut ranked blah, blah, blah.
Hardest working city.
The hardest working city. That was actually our subject line. They tweeted out our subject line, and we had those things fed into it.
Yeah.
And so
That's awesome.
the point is that you want to send them enough content that they don't have to email back, tell me more.
They
'Cause a
might
lot of-
want more.
They might want more, and a lot of people do that.
But they get it.
Oftentimes,
Yeah.
we have people print our email. Like, just take it, copy and paste, and drop it in.
Or use it like a blog post. And
So-
a great tip too, when you're creating these subject lines, is think like a BuzzFeed editor. You know, think like a San Francisco Chronicle writer. What would your headline be? And usually that headline could turn into a really, really great subject line.
And practically speaking, in terms of like what's in the email, the number one, if we're gonna give you one piece of advice, I don't know, maybe it's that one thing, I don't know, is that in our opinion, like publicists are all over on the board on this, but we feel that too many publicists say like, I have a great interview for you on the topic of 5 things you need to know about XYZ, and they don't tell you the 5, and we feel like that's not enough. So we actually will do the 5 things, we'll list them out as bullets. We'll do no more than a 1-sentence description of each of the 5. So we're not going to explain the whole 5, but we're going to give you some insight into it. And we give each of those 5 tips a headline. So the idea is show, not tell. Is like we're not just saying we have something valuable, we're an expert.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. We're showing you.
Yeah.
And we're making you come back for more. So that if there was one thing I was going to give you an advice is you have to put the content in the pitch, but it's got to be super short. So we're like no more than a sentence on each one, but it's got to be in there.
Because like many of you, they're getting thousands of emails a day, and you have
Right.
to get through that noise
Make it easy
with a
for them
great
to say
subject
this.
line, and
Yeah.
then your email can't be too long.
Yeah. Any last questions before we wrap up? Yeah.
I just wanted to pick up on what you were talking about headlines. You know, what's your thing about, what's your opinion about link baiting? I mean, since you mentioned BuzzFeed and they've been notorious for it, you know, between a really good headline which attracts attention versus, you know, link baits, and, you know, we're all familiar with that, you know, which is just designed to capture traffic, but it may be not very valuable traffic, or people
Right.
who end up being annoyed by it.
We had a conversation about this like a couple weeks ago, actually, and that link baiting is when you've manipulated somebody into clicking by saying one thing and providing something different. Now, providing a compelling subject line or a headline that is still accurate to the content. You know, like in the past we had a story idea that was more fashion related, like how much cleavage is too much cleavage on the first date, and we used that subject line for a fashion oriented pitch. You know, how to dress for your first date kind
And
of
we
thing.
had great content because we had a survey.
And we had a survey data that supported, you know, the subject line.
No pun intended.
Support.
Yeah, no, I don't know, okay, no. So the bottom line is what's different about this is we don't care, I mean, if people open our email, we don't get like a promotion for getting traffic to our email. They got to run the story. So we need good content to back it up, but we need a compelling,
Right.
to your
I
point.
think the big thing there is, like, if somebody feels manipulated into clicking something, you've lost them.
Yeah. Maybe last question?
Thank you. With startups, when you've been engaged, do you start PR hacking before or after the launch?
Okay, that's a great question. Usually, there's a couple things. One, you don't want to start thinking about this at the launch. So the process of sort of planning this happens much before. And we like some kind of outward-facing something, because you want to capture that traction, but it doesn't have to be also your full product. So we have clients that will do a micro product that is not their full big product, but they want to start capturing names. So they might it could come to form as a little, email service or ebook or something else that helps establish their expertise. This is really useful for those of you who want to raise investor funds, because what happens is when you launch, now you're on the clock, because the x-axis is time, right? I guess the graph is this way. The x-axis is time. So if you want your growth curve to look like a hockey stick and not like something slow like this, you want to reduce the x-axis, and it makes it look better. So this is a little hack for your investor meetings too. What you do is you actually start doing PR hacking before you launch. You have something outward facing where you can capture users and trackers, so you're capturing tens of thousands of names already, but you haven't started the clock because you haven't launched. Then you launch, and now you have those tens of thousands of users you've already gathered, plus everyone else you bring in for more PR hacking, and it makes your growth curve look faster because you're not actually starting from standstill. You've already been doing this. So I guess I would say, ideally, you start in advance of the launch. we're not talking a year in advance, but a bit before, and especially if you need to become a thought leader. For those of you who have business-to-business companies and you want to be a recognized expert, you can usually be an expert in anything in 4 to 6 months, is our belief. But it's not like you launch and I'm an expert today, right? So that even needs a little bit more advanced work. So with that being said, we are going to hang out afterwards, come up, answer any individual questions, have some sparkling